So the history of the constellation of Gemini is bounded by two big stars of this constellation, this zodiac sign, that are the stars that we call today Castor and Pollux. These two names are the names of two brothers that were brothers from the same mother, but from different fathers. The mother was Lena, and the fathers were, of one of them, of Pollux, was the god Zeus, and for Castor was the king of Sparta. Um, so this means that Castor was mortal and Pollux was immortal, was a god. This story um, tells that these two brothers they loved each other so much, a lot, and that they lived many stories all together. They fought together in wars and battles, and they do many adventures, and they love each other so much that they couldn't be apart from each other. But of course, Castor was mortal, so in one of the battles, he was harmed and he died. Because of this, Pollux couldn't stand that truth, so he asked to Zeus, his dad, to kill him and to make him mortal, so he could go to the Hades to to the underworld to live with his brother. Or he asked, is he able to come to the Olympus with us? So Zeus decided to take both brothers and made them into stars. And that's why we have these two big stars called Castor and Pollux in the skies. That's the story from the Greek tradition. But of course, if you read the Egyptian tradition, they will speak that these are two brothers and siblings, a brother and a sister, that they were living together all the time, representing the positive and the negative. The skies and the earth, both positions as unity, like if they were one. The integration of the duality. So we have to pay attention to this when we speak about Gemini. Gemini is two brothers that are very opposite to one another. So they're opposite, but it doesn't mean that they are against each other. They are not against each other. They love it to each other. Their natures are very different. Their natures are different because one was mortal, the other one was immortal. So they are very, very different by essence. But because of their differences, they love so much one another that they want to be all the time together. So for the Asian tradition, these two stars will represent the yin and the yang, which is the positive and the negative. The ancient symbol with which we know Gemini is this symbol here, the one we call yin and yang. So we have Gemini constellation. So when we speak about yin yang, we usually have this misconception about what this symbol really means, because um, we used to say that the white is the good one and the black is the bad one. So we used to say everything that is good has something bad on it, everything that is bad has something good on it, and that's the symbol. Um, but that's not very um, yin yang. That's more racist in such a way. So as just to make it clear of why we believe that black is bad and white is good is something that we have to understand from the very beginning. Okay, from the very beginning, we have to remember that for us, the night, which is darkness, is really a bad thing because in the night we don't know what is going to kill us. We don't know what is going to, you know, what is going to be there trying to kill us. Mm. Like we're animals and we cannot see properly and so on. So that's why we relate the black things, the night, the darkness, with these weird animals that we create in our minds, like demons and monsters and so on. Mm? So that's what we start to create with this. And also, the rotten food used to get black. So something that can kill us if we eat it, maybe we can die. Okay. So in our subconscious, through thousands of years, we start to create the idea that the black is bad. And then we create the idea of the white being good because during the day, with the light, with the colors, with the sun, we were able to see, we were able to reach clarity, we were able to understand what are the foods that makes us good, and we can handle the light. That's why we started to relate to everything that is white or with colors that was something good, and the dark, the black is something bad. And of course, later they started to relate that the um, with the people. So they started to say that by the logics of thousands of years, they thought, okay, so bad, so the black people is bad and the white people is good, and that it's one of the misunderstandings of these two colors that is not related to bad or good. So yin yang is not representing the good things and the bad things. The yin yang is representing the manifested and the unmanifested. Is representing the everything and the nothing. Okay, that's what is representing this symbol. Not good, no bad. Is manifested and unmanifested. So what this means really is that everything that exists and is limited, manifested in this reality, has within a part, a tiny part that is illimited, that doesn't have any limits. So it's able to transform in anything, even if it is already limited by the outside. And in the other side, everything that is infinite has the potentiality to manifest and create something. It's like the dreamer and the dream. It's like the artist and the art of that artist. This is why this symbol is not about two different concepts against each other. This is speaking about a concept of two different things that complement each other, that need each other in order to exist. Hmm? We could say that these two are the stars, Castor and Pollux. So we could say that Castor is the star here that is hugged by its brother Pollux, which is the unmanifested. And here, Pollux, the unmanifested one, is surrounded and hugged by the spirit of its brother Castor. Mm? So both of them are holding each other to manifest, to create. So this is the most important key of Gemini, the communication of two opposite parts. So the task of Gemini is to help us find a bound, a communication between the manifested and the unmanifested, between the feminine and the masculine, between the positive and the negative. So remember, these are not opposite concepts that are speaking about a war against the good and the bad, the woman and the man. It's not separated. Both are only one being creating the whole. So now something happened that Gemini is able to love both sides because it's everything. Gemini is everything. So Gemini can be in the manifested and the unmanifested, in the visible and the one that is shown equally. It can feel and perceive the reality either side. It doesn't matter. The inner aspect, the outer aspect is the same. So Gemini is a really good master into communicate what is within and what is outside. Gemini is the concept of I understand what is inside of me and I can communicate what is within into the outside and I can communicate what is outside in the within. I have a good communication between both sides. And because it's so easy for the Gemini aspect to communicate between the things that are hidden within and the things that are shown outside, it doesn't matter which person you put in front of a Gemini, it will find a way to speak in the same language, to communicate with all the people, because it's easier for them to position itself in either side. So this is something important to get from this topic from Gemini, because along this month, we will go into topics that we divided as opposite to one another. This is why we think that these two brothers are opposite, but actually all the concepts that we will speak about, they are complementary to one another. They are not in a fight. So as you see, these two brothers are sharing life together. They are complementary. So the key for Gemini is communication. They need to communicate to one another. They are in constant communication because they love one another. So they want to learn from the other, to understand the different perspectives from the other. So that's why Gemini is like this world of sharing information, of willing to learn, to communicate with the others, to recognize the other. Okay, and because of this communication, the regent of Gemini is Mercury. Remember that we spoke when we spoke about Gemini. About Mercury, we spoke that it was the god of the merchant people. The merchant, the people that used to sell from one village to another, from one town to another along countries. So that's why the main merchant became Mercury, okay, and came from there. And this is why in between brothers and sisters, there was this communication. So that's why Mercury was the regent that represented Gemini, the communication between brothers and sisters. So what happened with Gemini here? Remember this. It's not about being one or the other. These two are called Castor and Pollux. Castor and Pollux are brothers that love each other. They love so much that they want to be together as one. And this unity is what we call philosophy. This is philosophy. Hmm? Philosophy is the love for knowing, is knowing through love. What is philosophy is love for wisdom. How does wisdom to find itself through love? By questioning itself constantly. Philosophy is basically the connection between the heart and the mind, is the love for wisdom. And in the middle, we find the questions, the communication, is the constant communication between the two parts to share, to exchange views, to grow from that. So remember that in order to open yourself to this energy of Gemini, we have to feel like philosophers, allowing us to feel our ideas, to wonder about them, to love, to question our mind. That's evolution.